There's been outrage after a 25-year-old man was shot 5 times at his home in Twinbrook in West Belfast. Dissident Republicans are being blamed for the attack. Jane Lockery reports.
Forensic teams spent the morning examining the scene where the 25-year-old man was shot last night. Shortly before 7:45, the victim opened the door of his flat in Twinbrook, Summerhill Drive, and was confronted by 3 masked men, one of whom was armed with a handgun. He struggled with them, but they pushed him to the ground and shot him 5 times in both calves, right thigh, right shoulder and his left hand. He's now in a stable condition in hospital. The Director of Community Restorative Justice, an organisation set up to try and prevent so-called punishment attacks, has described the shooting as brutal.
Detectives investigating the murder of Constable Stephen Carroll have arrested a man in Newtownarry. Constable Carroll was killed by the Continuity IRA in Craigavon in March. The 22-year-old has been taken to the Serious Crime Suite at Antrim Police Station for questioning. 3 people have already been charged in connection with the murder.
There were angry scenes in Londonderry as up to 50 dissident Republican protesters forced their way into a meeting of the local district policing partnership. It's the second time such a meeting has been disrupted. In July, protesters forced a previous meeting to be abandoned. Gareth Wilkinson's report contains some flash photography.
This reconvened meeting was held in Da Vinci's Hotel, a new venue, but again dissident Republican protesters were there. Denied access, they voiced their frustration.
To me, as a citizen of this city, I don't see why we're denied access to a public meeting.
Minutes later, protesters surged towards the door into the meeting. They failed to break through. Hotel staff were manhandled as they tried another. It was forced open. The protesters maintained a barrage of noise, an attempt to have the meeting abandoned. That's what happened at July's meeting, but the DPP chair claims the agenda was completed.
Revealed the full extent of the terrorist threat, a device every other day.
The security situation should not have deteriorated, and clearly it has.
But first, tonight's top story. We know the deadly capabilities of dissident Republicans, but the full extent of their activities has just been revealed.
Over the past 2 years, they've planted more than 1 explosive device every other day. Sharon O'Neill has the story.
These are the most deadly and headline-grabbing attacks by dissident Republicans, but the full extent of their campaign and desire to claim innocent lives has now been revealed by the body which represents rank-and-file officers. According to the Police Federation, the Army dealt with more than 750 real and hoax bomb alerts in the last 2 years. That's an average of 30 a month. More than 420 of those were real and had the potential to kill or seriously injure police officers. That's an average of more than 1 device planted here every other day. The severity of that threat was outlined at the Police Federation's annual conference, and guest of honour was the new Chief Constable, Matt Baggett.
The threat against officers is huge. So what has been our official response? Firstly, the PSNI decided that we can do without the services of the remaining 500 officers of the full-time reserve. Why? Because Patton said that they should be phased out. But he said more than that. He also said they could go only when the circumstances justified their departure. Specifically, it was spelt out that the political institutions should not have collapsed, and clearly they haven't, but also that the security situation should not have deteriorated, and clearly it has.
750 dissident bomb alerts in 2 years. We've had a police officer murdered. What message will you give to the dissidents trying to kill your officers?
Well, the first thing is my message to the Police Federation and my colleagues here, that we will continue to take those threats, those actions very seriously indeed. But the overwhelming support we need, of course, is from the vast majority of people who do not support these people, who do not want this degree of violence, and who want to see a future for Northern Ireland that is both prosperous and peaceful. So we'll be working at developing that support, as well as to continue to address with the greatest of professionalism the threat that's coming from those who want to disrupt the process towards peace.
It's day 3 for Matt Baggett, and he listened attentively as the Federation warned community policing, which he's a big supporter of, was at stake because of budget cuts.
The public are telling us that they want to see police officers out on the beat. However, despite intentions to the contrary, the message being sent out is that we are giving up on our towns and our streets. Our presence is shrinking in the border areas, and our current policy will see the abandonment of community policing rather than its pursuit.
Now, the police not managing their money properly.
I think any organisation in the public sector, particularly with the economic situation that we're in, has to look to become ever more efficient. And that applies to the police every bit as much as it does to health, to education and all the other public services that we run.
There's no doubt Matt Baggett has his work cut out for him. He may have received a warm welcome here at the Police Federation's annual conference, but he was told in no uncertain terms what needs to be done. Sharon O'Neill, UTV Live, North Down.